Vahid, and today I want to show you some tips and tricks for creating a beautiful Power BI reports. I'm going to use all just the HTML tags in this session. I don't want to show anyone anything about Power Query or something related to that one. So just HTML in Power BI. So I told you, my name is Vahid Doustamajd. I'm originally from Iran. I'm Persian, but at the moment I'm living in Sydney, Australia. I'm Microsoft Data Platform MVP and Microsoft Certified Trainer. My background is fully project management consultant and working in the construction companies. I started with as a project scheduler, then moved to project coordinator things, the area and project management, but then made a big decision and changed my career path. And at the moment, I'm working as a integration and data analytics in Fulton Organ, which is that is one of the biggest construction company in New Zealand and Australia. I'm a super user in the Power BI community. If you haven't used Power BI community, I highly recommend you to be an active person in there. That's like a school for me. I learned a lot from that community. First, I started as only a regular user to post something there, but after that, I changed the way and start answering the question there. Answering the question helped me to just learn those things and then transfer my the other things I learned to other people. So highly recommend to be an active person, an active user in Power BI community. I have a user group which the name is Persian Power BI user group. I'm a leader of that user group, and I have a webblog. You can find all of those handle of my Twitter and website and email address there. So I have a blog there, blog and post one or two blog posts each month. And I'm a big and fast learner. Every time I'm learning the new things. So before we start and go to the session, I need to mention that I'm not a programmer. I'm not a big and super knowledgeable person in the HTML. I start learning HTML when I started Power BI. So in this session, I just want to talk about some tags which are useful in here in Power BI. I don't want to go through the deeply in the HTML things. So first of all, in this session, I want to talk about some tags which we can use to add some customized text to Power BI report. Then I will show you how you can embed a image from website or from online sources to your report by using HTML image tag. Then I will show you how you can do that for GIF and video. And at the end, we can have 5 to 10 minutes for question and answering those questions, talk about those things. Okay, so this is and the other slide are only slides for today. This session will be fully demo session, but before starting with HTML in Power BI, I need to tell you some important things. First of all, for using the HTML in Power BI, we need to use that by DAX. We need to create a measure or create a column or create those HTML tags with the good structure in a data source and load that as a data table in one column, and then use that column as a data source as a HTML code, data source of the HTML code in Power BI. So, but I always used measures. So using DAX is the same as the first solution for using HTML in Power BI. We need to convert double quotation to single quotation in all HTML codes. So this is the rule, because whenever you write HTML code, there are some tags and there are some tags you need to add them by adding some double quotation. But you need first convert them to single quotation and keep all the HTML codes between two double quotation. I will show you how to do that. So let me change my screen and open my Power BI here. Power BI here. Yes. Okay. Okay, so as I told you, I'm not a computer programmer. My background is not computer or SQL. My background is all in construction, project management things with some uh, experience in SQL and creating Excel files with VBA and those things. So I didn't know anything about HTML. So I used this website, w3schools.com, to learn some HTML things, to learn about the HTML tags. So let me just share that in the chat. Highly recommend if you don't know anything about HTML and you want to start writing some HTML code, just visit this website, or you can use ChatGPT for sure. But this website explain all those codes very good in a good way with all the details there. So I told you if we want to write some HTML codes in Power BI, there are some codes here. Let me just find, yeah, for example, this one. You can see here. Let me just all of some codes here, some tags are started with double quotation. If we want to use this one in Power BI, we need to convert this double quotation to single quotation and then keep all of them between two double quotation. So I will show you how we can do that. Okay, so let's go to the Power BI here. For using the Power BI, for using HTML in Power BI, we need to use some custom visuals. So as you can see, I added the Daniel Marsh Patrick image here. Why? Because he created one of the best custom visuals for these things, and that's the HTML content. You can find it in, if you go there and get more visuals here, if you search for HTML, then there are few options for you. You can use all of them, but I always use this HTML content, which created by Daniel. And because of that, I added his image on my presentation to say, thank you, Daniel, for creating this one. Not only this one, the DNB one, and some other visuals. Uh, the other things I need to add, recently he added this light version, as you can see, is the Power BI certified. These certifieds are important because if you publish your report on service and you want to print them or create a PDF by them, then you need to use some certified visual. So if you want to do something like that one, you need to use this light version. There are few slightly different between those two versions. If you open his website, all the information are here. Let me copy all of them and share in the chat. So if you open his website, he explained all of those things between the difference between those two visuals on his website very well. So all info, all these visuals with this effects are added with some HTML code like this one. If you hover the mouse, that will rotate and be small. So thank you, Daniel. Just want to show that here, and then let's start with some useful tags, and that's a paragraph one. So if we want to add a HTML code to our report, first we need to create a measure. Let me just create a measure here. And yes, so let me add it as a UAE HTML and equal. For now, I will add one, and then I will open Tabular Editor because I want to have this ability to change the HTML, the measure code, and then see the result concurrently. So let me UAE, and that was one, not that one, this one. Okay, so now I can write some codes here and use that in Power BI. So there are two tags which are very important when you want to create, add some text by using HTML to Power BI. One of them is H, and the other one is P1. What's the difference between those two? The P1 is the for paragraph. So you can add it there and just change the font size, add some style to that one, which I explained that in the next step. But there is H1 to H6, and difference between those H1 to H6 is the size of the size of the font there. And there are some other differences when you want to create a website. For example, if you want to have a SEO, a good SEO for your website, using H1 with that tag helps you to find those websites on the Google or something like that. But I don't want to go through the details of those two, but I want to show you how we can use that here. So first, I told you we need to add, we don't need this one. Let me, it's bigger. Okay. So what I wanted to, first of all, we need to add two double quotation. So whatever I write between these two double quotation will be considered as my HTML code. So I want to first start with H1, writing H1 tag, and then I need to close that H1 tag like this. And between those two tags, I can write my text. So sample text for UAE HTML in Power BI, in Power BI session. Let me make it smaller and then go to the next. Okay, so here I just want to add some formatting here to be easy to read that one. Okay, so between H1, I added some text there. So I will add save here by clicking on this icon here, and then back to my report, add that custom visual, which is the HTML content. Make sure to download that from the apps, from this Power BI visuals, because I know Daniel just uploaded a new version, which is 1.4 recently, and that will be available in few days on the apps on custom visual list. So I created this visual, this measure with that code. You can see that here, H1 with some text there, and I can add it as a value to my visual, and that will be shown here. So as I told you, H1 to H6 are some tags for the headings. If I change that to H3, the size of my text will be different, will be smaller. If I use H6, that will be smaller, like this one. But you can use P for the paragraph, start that one, finish that one here, and then we can add some style for that text and in the paragraph. If you want to read more information about about that those two tags, again, just go to this w3schools.com. Let me just, I'm not sure I copy paste that or not. Oh yeah, I did that. So it's in the chat. You can find it there, and you can read about those tags here with all the information. So I added the text here, which is okay. You can do that by adding that the same code, same text between two double quotation in the measure and added in one visual in the card. But we want to add more styling things to our text. We want to change the font size. We want to add some background colors. We want to use some custom fonts for our text. So let's go to the first style one. Before that one, is there any question so far? Feel free, if you have any question, just unmute yourself and ask it, or you can raise it in the chat. I will check that chat every 5 or 10 minutes. No question. Okay, let's go to the style one. So we added one text with the HTML so far to our visual. We want to add some style there. So for styling things, I can add this code here. Before, again, everything between two double quotation here. And I can add some styling things here. So let me just make that, change the style of that to be easy to read. So this one here, tag, yeah, that's good. So I added a style for P, which is my paragraph, and I said, okay, the font size 20 pixel, the color black, and the background color red, and close the style here. And then added my paragraph tag here. So if I click OK, then you can see the size of the HTML font here is different now, is 20. If I change that to 30, so that will be bigger. I can change the color by adding red and then change the background color to black. And that will change. So far you can do these items with the text, inserting text in Power BI, but going forward, I will show you how you can add some other effects which are not possible to do that with the text box in Power BI. So we found out how to add a paragraph here and how to add the style there. Again, if you want to find some information about how many styles and those tags and information here, attributes of those style things, you can go to that website and check those information you can add there. Okay, so adding this here, some user asked me, okay, you added this text box to your report, but I want to be able to read that text without my eyeglass. Is there any option for me to make that where the made to change the size of the font to make that bigger or smaller? So some people like to read those texts when they are smaller, or some people like to read those texts with the big font. And we don't want to just zoom in or zoom out. We just want to imagine. Let me just close that one. Imagine we have some visuals here, and there is one text here, text box here. So we want to give this option to the end user to change the size of text here without zoom out or zoom in using these options here. Because if they zoom out or zoom in, then some part of those visuals can't be read by the users. So okay, let's go to here and let's add one a field here, parameter here. I can add a parameter, numeric parameters. I can say, okay, the name of that will be font size. That's a whole number, and I want to change the size of my font from 10 to 200. Oh, no, here, 100 increments 1. So 10 to 100 and increment that one by one. So ask me, okay, do you want to add a slicer to this page? I say yes, because I want to drive that font size with this slicer. Here, right here, and then let me make this, change the background color to transparent, and okay, and then change the color to black. There are, let me just show you one thing. There are, I think, 100 something codes which you can write those names in Power BI, and then that will handle the codes. Brian Julius created this good table with this sheet with all of those names. So if you want to, for example, use this color green, you can use the hex code, or you can just add the lime, and that will be handled by Power BI and HTML code. If I use Lime, or I can use that's hex code, or I can use the RGB or RGBA code. So all of them are possible to be used in HTML. So let me just add that black. So I want to add some text here. Let me just write that with using, from now, it's using this tabular editor. So I need to add some variable here. First of all, I want to add a variable to use the selected text here in my font size. Let's say it's 20. I want to use this 21. Whatever I select here, I want to use that to change the font size in the text box. So where font size, let me just make it smaller, shorter. Font size will be whenever you add that, you create that parameter here, you can see there are two things here. One of them is the column here created by font, created by code, generate series from 10 to 100 by 1, which we created, use that one to create the for create that parameter, and by default there is one measure with selected value. Whatever you select here, this measure will return that one. So here I can use the font size here and just say, okay, this variable is equal to my font size there, font size, and font size value, not that, that's a column, sorry, this one. So font size, and then say return after variable, I need to add a return, and here I need to change this 30 with this variable. To doing that, because we need to keep all of our codes between two double quotation, first I will add a double quotation, two double quotation. Between them, I will add two ampersand, and between the ampersand, I will add that fs, my variable. What's happened here? I said here from this double quotation to this double quotation is the text. From this one to this one is text. But add this, the output of the whatever value is here, add it here, but keep it as a text. So whatever number here will be added to this HTML code, and that will be like a text, will be totally like the text for the whole code. So I will add OK, come to update my code, and here you can see by changing the font size here, I can change the font size, changing the slicer value, I can change the font size. This is not possible by using the text box in Power BI. So whenever you want to add this option or this situation, this text box to your Power BI, you need to use something like this HTML. I can see there is that was a question, or that was a high five, Ahmed. I can see you
A
raise
high
your
five.
hand.
A high five. Very good. Love
Okay,
this.
Matt. Thank you, Matt. So now you can add this option to your end user, to your report for the end user to be able to change the text size. Imagine someone left his or her eyeglass at home and want to read those reports and want to see all of those visuals and read the text you created to explain those visuals. I'm gonna be able to see those texts. So you can add that here, and then there is a scroll bar, and they can read all those texts here. So going forward, we added that option here. So we find that we can change the style here. So there is another option which is not possible to do that with the text option. If we just want to highlight the HTML text, we just want to highlight that one with some codes, and we want to make that highlight things like a dynamic highlight, highlights. How we can do that? So with the span. So if I add this span code to my tag, to my code here, so before HTML, I want to add that span, because the span will change the style of everything. When you say that code, the span started here and finish here. So whatever text here will be affected by this span. Whatever things whatever style you define here will be applied on that text. Because of that, it's important to close that span. Let me show you. If I add this one to my code before before this HTML, let me just make it to the next. And here it's easy to read. Let me know if you can't read those codes and if you have any question about those codes. I just added some, bring those texts to some different lines to be able to read them easily. So I added this span before the HTML, but I only want to apply that styling, which is the background color with this name. Let me just add green here. I just want to highlight the HTML in green color. See if I add OK, let me bring it here to be able to read that one. As you can see, it applied this span from here to end of the text, because I didn't close the span tag. If I want to apply that at the end of the HTML, I need to close the span. Okay. So Control S or save that one. And now you can see it's highlighted only that part of text which is between the start of a span and close of a span. So it's important to close those tags whenever you want to write a measure with HTML code. So light. Let me just change that to light green and Control S, which is the shortcut for save the changes. And you can see that part is highlighted. But again, one user asked me, okay, I have a text here which explain about the value or the finance value, some dollars value, comparing that with last week or yesterday or last year. And I want to highlight that in green if that increased, or highlight that in red when that decreased. So how can I do that? It's easy. I can add a tag. I can add one table here with yes and no, just as a sample. I don't want to just create something for the finance things now. I just want to add something with yes and no. If it's yes, make that green. If it's no, make that red. So here, and I can add that yes and no as a slicer here. Let me create it here and change that to highlight HTML. So, okay, and now I need to change my code. Again, I need to add another variable here where for highlighting HTML, just HHD to keep it short, and selected selected value, and that will be table. That's column here, and at the end of that. So now this will be clear, select that value, this one. And here I can use it there. So let me just open that one. Where is that one? Okay, yeah. So now I want to make this span be dynamic. So I will remove it from here, from my text. Back to next line and add another variable here where text HTML, and say, okay, if this variable, which is the selected value here, is yes, equal to yes, then using some codes here, using my span code, let me just copy this to save some times there. So using this stanza with light green, light green. If it's hard to read this text, please let me know to zoom in or make the text bigger, and then add the text HTML and close the span. Otherwise, using the again same output if it's no with red. That's it. So if it's yes, that will be highlighted by light green. If it's not yes, which is no, that will be red. And now I want to change it here again to using some variables inside my HTML code, two double quotation, between those two double quotation, two ampersand, like this, okay, and add that variable, which is this one. Okay, that one, that's because the selected value, I think I added, yeah, that's the issue because I didn't add those two double quotation for this one and this one. I need to keep everything like text here. So now it's done. Let's make it okay. And now you can see it's red. If I select yes, that's green. If I say no, that's no. And I didn't say anything about if it's not no or yes, just keep it transparent. You can add whatever condition you want with switch or if index, but it is good because you can write some other codes here in the HTML in if to say, okay, if this work over week or today value against comparing with yesterday is higher or it's lower than that one, make it green or red, or add some icons there. You can add the icon as well there to add above or down arrows there. So it's good. So you can use this HTML to add some dynamic effects to the text of the text in your Power BI reports. If there is no question, we can move to the next section. Is there any question? No? Okay.
One thing, wait.
Yep.
So like you mentioned the case, now this is like a static value, yeah. So if it's no, then it highlights with this. Yes, then it highlights. Now what if it's a range, right? Let's say, for example, if it's between 0 to 10, then you highlight it in this color. 10 to 20, you highlight in this.
Yeah,
30
you
to
can do
40.
that. For example, here, rather than this code, I can use the switch and say, okay, if that value, for example, my code is very hard to read that one. So here I can use this font size for it. So I can say, okay, it changes to switch, the F1 to switch, and then say, okay, if the condition is true, and if the font size, for example, is less than 20, then make that green. And if that's bigger than 20, bigger than 20, bigger equal 20, make that red. And that's it. So that's switch one. So let's back to the code. Here, if I make that less than a 20, that will be green, and the size of the font will change. If I go over the 20, that will change. I can add some other condition in my code here to say if it's less than a 20 and it's bigger than 5, then color is red, green. Otherwise, let's keep it as red. Let's keep it as transparent. So let's back. If I go lower than that one. Oh yeah, because I didn't mention that one. Bigger than 5, less than 20, big green, and bigger than 20, it's red. There is some, okay. And otherwise, just change this one to blue. Yeah. Okay, so let's test that one. Because my code doesn't have anything less than a 10, 5, so that won't work. So let's keep it 15. Yeah, now it's blue. It's very dark blue. Let's add it as a light blue. Fully light blue is one of those colors. Yes, so lower than 15. If I go above than 15, it's green. Above 20, it's red. And less than a 15, if I go one down, it's blue. So you can add condition by using DAX.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's possible. Yeah.
Perfect.
Anyways,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
So let's go to the Google Font. So after adding those items, again, another user asks and say, that's a manager, the manager, the branding manager of the company, and said, we have some procedure to use our company font on or all of our reports. So wherever you have a text, you need to use this font, which is very important for us. So, when you want to add a text box here, you're limited to use this number of the fonts in here. There are some tricky ways to go to the file, change it in the JSON file, which is the theme of this file, change everything there. But I never recommend that way because that will change every text here. Sometimes those are not possible to be supported. Those are not supported by Power BI service. So here say, okay, if you want to add, if you have if you can tell me what is the name of that font, and if that font is part of the Google font, yes, we can use that in this text. We can use that font as a font of the text, and we can share it on the report. So let me just say Google font here. So you can, if you go to the Google Font website, let me copy paste it in a text. There are, I think, I don't know, many fonts here, million fonts here, and you can use each of them on your report by using the Google Font API HTML. So here you can see the information about that one. That's some information here to use those Google Fonts, but use those Google Fonts using the HTML in Power BI. I will send this one in the chat if you want to read about that one. But what you need to do is to add one link here, which will act as an API, and then add this item to the style of the text, to the side of our font, our code. So let me make this a little bit smaller here. And let's get rid of this condition for the coloring because I want to save some space here and back this to HTML. Okay, yeah. So now we can make our code a little bit bigger. Okay, so what I need to do is that link. That link, if you want to find this link, it's in the website I shared in the chat. It's the API for the Google font for using the HTML. So I added that as a first line here. Let me add it to the next line here. And then I need to add this line to define the font family. So there are some few 4 or 5 categories for the font family, like the serif, sans serif, cursive, and fantasy and monospace to my code. So here I have a style here, so I will add that code as first attribute of the styling. So it's very important to adding this one because we want to define, okay, the family of the font is Sophia, so you need to add it to the style of that paragraph or the heading you want to use to be able to use this API. So let's back to the Google Fonts website, and I want to use this Borel one. So I open that one, I copy this name back to my code, just change this Sophia with Bora and need to make sure to use that here in the font family and apply that. If I apply that one, let me just make it bigger. You can see the font now is different. And this is a really very custom font. And that will give this option to you to use million type of the fonts on your report and make your report totally different than the other reports. So I'm pretty sure if someone open your report and see this text, we'll find, okay, they use something similar, something different here, and they will go through those details to find out how you did that one. There are some options to add this type of text by using Charticulator and Dinner, but using this HTML will give you more option to be able to change the size of that one and even give this option to the end user to be able to select the code. So I created table here with name of some of those Google Fonts. And I want to add one drop down here. Let me add it here. To be able to give this option to the end user to select the font here, and this will change by selecting that one. So again, I need to add one variable here. I don't need this variable. So I will change that to Google Font GFA, Google Font API. And then I will selected value again, Google font here, and this font. Whatever I select in that column will be returned by this variable. And I need to add it here again, 2 double quotation, 2 ampersand, and add that one here. And we need to make sure to change that here in the style for the font family, and okay, that one. So if I select this, let me just make it smaller. If I select one of those names here, you can see the text and the font, the text and font will be changed. And we can give more options to the end user by adding this, these conditions to change whatever they want on this text box. Make it bigger, smaller, or even same as the previous example, you can add some condition to some part of the text and then make your text box totally dynamic and different than the other text boxes. So yes, we can use the Google font there. Any questions so far or nothing? Okay. So let's go to marquee. So this marquee is the one tag that we can use to add some movement to our text. So let me just make our text a little bit bigger and select this font for it. So now we have a big list, big text, very long text, or we have very the same as in the mod to some markets you can see there are some values for different companies for shares for share of those different companies, but you have a very long list of those things. You have sales for 100 for 100 countries, and you want to add one. If you want to add all of those text, that will be like very long text box, but you don't want to do that. You want to someone asks you, okay, can you add one text box here and add a movement to those tags to start from here, from right to left, and show all of those tags back to back, something like advertisement beside around the football stadium. So yes, we can do that with HTML by using this tag. If I add this tag to my code here before the P1, let me bring it up to have some space here because I want to add more code here. Okay, so now add it to the next line. Yeah, so if I add the marker code here and click OK, that will be added here. So it starts from right to the left, and that's by default has some attributes there. To the scroll amount is by default is I think 5 or 10, but you can customize those things. You can add some options here. If I copy this and paste it in marquee here, make sure to close that code tag at the end. If you have very long tags and you just want to apply that movements to one part of that text, you need to end at the end of that tag or close that tag to wherever you want to close it and you want to apply this one. So here, let me close that one. I didn't close it because there is no tag text here. So it start from here and go down to end of this text. But I want to close that one to have a good text here. So there are some options here. The behavior is the scroll, slide, and alternate. And the scroll amount is 10. Let's start with the scroll amount and keep it to the left. If I add this to if I if I add this scroll amount to 20 and apply that one, that's the speed of this movement. So I can make it slower to make it 2, very slow, or I can make it faster to keep it as 10. So it will faster. You can totally change that one. Again, you can add some options or add some variables here with some slicer to give this option to the end user to change those things. There is the behavior screw, slide, and alternate. This is the screw. It starts from one side, go to the, for example, for now, because it's a start from the right to left, and we go there. When it's finished, it start again. You can set that as a slide. Then when you apply that one, it'll start from right, go to left, and will start and will let me apply that one. Yeah, and will finish when hit the border at the left side. It'll stop there. Or I can add, let me just make it a little bit smaller to see everything there. And it might take a little bit long if I want to add some break there and say, okay, from sample tags for UAE HTML in first line and the rest of the tags in the next line, I can add the code that tag BR. And if I apply that one, So it started from there, and the next part of that text is in the next line. I can change that to alternate. If I apply that one, then it will bouncing about between the border of that text box. If I change the text size, then it will start from this border to this border and then bounce here and back to the right side. So it's good. Uh, I can change the direction. Now it's left. I can say right and change the alternate to a screw. And it will start, let me Control S to save it. It will start from the left to go to right. I can add up, right, and uh, up. It will start from down to go up, or I can set down to this one. So let's keep it left, press, and press, and that's good. So let's keep it here. So that's a marquee tag, which is very useful whenever you have very long text and you want to show everything. You have a limited space here. You have many visuals here, and you have only this limited space here, and you want to show all those tags there, so you can write your text, add that tag, and say, okay, every text, all text will be a start from the right to left and shown, or you can see all of them there. So it will be finished whenever it finish, that will start again. So, okay, any questions so far, or we can go to the next tag? Nothing. Good. So next tag is the image tag. So whenever you want to add an image to your Power BI report, you can add the tag image here. You can select whatever image you want, select it, download it, and add it here. Change the size of that one, change the condition of that one, add some action to that image. So you need to add that text. You need to add that image inside your report. But what if you want to add some online some images or embed that from online sources? Imagine you have a report for the projects and you want to show some few images from the web, from the project inside your report. Your project team will take some photos or images every day and place them in one shape or folder. So by using HTML, you can say, okay, every time read the, for example, they name it image 1, 2, 3 and add 3 images there. You can connect your image to that shape on folder to show number 1, number 2, number 3, image 1, 2, 3. And if tomorrow they change those images, you don't need to open your report and again insert your image, the new image here there. You can use that code there. So how you can use that one? We can use this code, image source, and then image is the tag and the source is then the source of that image there. So let's add image there. So, okay, so let me just mix all of those things to here. I have this code so far, but I want to change it a little bit. I have a table here, which is a sample table for the Power BI. You can download it from the Microsoft website with some information here. One column of that has a country and other column has sales. So I want to use those two and then add some images there. So before that, let me create a measure here for image HTML. And again, if I want to add that one, I need to add two double quotation and add my code between them. So I can add image and then src. It's src equal and then two single quotation for my address, image address, and then here. So back to my report. For example, let me just find an image here. Let's see this one, flag of China. So there is an image here. If I want to just add this flag to my report, I need to save it here, save an image, and then add it there. But I want to use this HTML code and embed that online by using this one, this website. So right click on this image, just copy image address and paste it here. So you can see there is a website, web URL with the website name and some other items here, and then China flag, which is the name of that image with .png. So if I click OK, and then add another custom, another HTML content here, and add that image HTML which I created here, you can see there is a flag there. I can change the size of that, but let me just bring it here to be able to see that here. And then I can add some code here to change the size of that one with it's of that one. And then between two single quotation, I can add 45 and enter. So now it's smaller. I can make that 100. You can set the height and width of that image. To change that one, you can give this option to the end user again with this slicer to make that bigger or smaller. But I just wanted to show how you can embed that here. So, okay, let's back to our previous here. So now I can, I don't want to add the mark here. I want to add the paragraph here. P. And let's end the P here. And between that, I want to say the say for one country, which I added that one, is Datma. So I want to add the one new new variable here as a country. That will be selected value country, financial country from that table I showed you. And then there is another one for the value of that one. So sales, and that will be sum of sales, finance from that table. And I can add that one here. So level country here. And again is this one and change it with sales. Okay. Here. Okay, let me change this one with what's happened here. Yeah, I need to add one and at the end. And keep that double quotation at the end of this one. So should be fine now. Yes, let's back to the table I have and change this one to country. So if I select Canada, it bears Canada, and then this has one bit more 10%, which is good. Now change it. So let me change this, the size of that one. You can see the size for Canada is this amount. If I change it to France, to Germany, that will change. And those are with this, the X code I wrote there. And even I can change the font of that one with another slicer here with Google Font. Add it here, so I can change the font of that one here. But I want to add one flag here before the name of country. So I know the flag website here, and I know all of those flag name there, but there is one issue. If I want to add those flag codes statically to the report, I can copy paste them, add it to the column and add them to there. But this name of countries will be changed. I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe we sell some other product to another country, to UAE, to Iran, to USA. So I want to make that dynamic. So you can use that tag, which we created here, inside that report. So I will copy that one, create another variable here as a flag, and add the code here, again, between two double quotation. And this China will be changed. So I need to make that again dynamic. So I have the name of country here in this variable. So if I change that China again, two double quotation, 2% between that, add the name of that country, that will change. That will change and we show the flag here. But there is one thing we need to make sure. We need to correct that one before go there. The name of the country is here. Start with the capital, are using the capital characters here, but the name of the country here is with lowercase. So I need to change that one. So here I can add another code, lower, which will change the text to lowercase and will add it to there. So now if I add this flag here to say again, okay, double ampersand, double quotation, double ampersand, added flag here, and click OK. Back to my report, you can see it's India, it's that before the name of the country, and then there is a value there. I can change the size of that one because it's a little bit big for me at 20, and that will be like this one. We can go a little bit bigger, 35. Okay. So now if I back to my report and change that to Germany, you can see the flag of Germany, the name of Germany. Let me change the font, make that a little bit bigger. Then flag of that one, Mexico, you can see the flag of that one. And I can remove the name of country because the flag is there. Or even I can create some tables with some HTML code. It's easy. Even if you don't know that, you can find it in that website, show you, or just send it to ChatGPT, and that will write all the codes you need in seconds. So you can just define, I have this one, that table with these columns, and just give me one HTML code. But make sure whenever you copy those codes from ChatGPT, they're using some double quotation. First of all, change those double quotation to single quotation, and then add one double quotation start and end to keep everything as a text between those two double quotation. So here you can write some other codes. I created some codes before, if I find it here. Yes, this one I created before for as an example. I can add it here, and you can see it start the name of the flag of that one, Mexico, the sales here. If I don't select anything, that will start all countries back to back. So you can add this text box like this one to the top of your report, and that will show everything on top of your report. So you save some space on your report. You make that dynamic, because if I select just Mexico, that will filter and only show Mexico. If I select India, that will select India, or India, Mexico, Germany, that will show those items there. So you can use that in many different scenarios. And yeah, you can apply some text because this one is not applied in this code, it's different. So at the moment, this font not applied there. Anyway, so that was for the image. Is there any question so far, or we can go through the last tag, which is the video one? Nothing. Good. Let's go to the next one. So there are some different tags for embedding a video on your Power BI reports. But unfortunately, you can't use all of them, because if you want to embed one YouTube video here, then you need to use the iframe, and you can't use iframe tag. Let me iframe HTML. This one. You can do is use that iframe to embed some video from YouTube. Yes, but that iframe doesn't work on Power BI and using this visual. There are some limitations. Again, I shared Daniel website in the chat. Please open that one. There is one page and he explained everything very well there. So you can read why there are some limitations there. So, but we can use video tag to embed add some video inside our report. So let me just add it here and keep it between two double quotation like this one, start and finish. And then in the source, you need to add the source of that video, and the type of that, and this is the size of that one. And this controls, let me just find the video. If you want to find that video, you need to find a website which will give you some link with the MP4 video. So TED that is a good website. You can go there and find some videos with that function. For example, this one. I want to add, imagine you have a report with many visuals, and you want to record the video and explain the main and basic structure of your report to the users. So you want to record that video, save it in SharePoint, and you want to add it inside your report, and user can go to the report, just play that one whenever they have a question about that report, or they want to know, okay, what information I can find in this report. They can play that video. Going forward, you will update your report, and you want to update your video. So when, as long as that is connected to that link, you just need to replace and update that video. So now we have this one, and we want to use it, embed this one inside the Power BI. Here you can find that there is a link here. If I copy this one, oh, this one, the MP4, right click on this one and copy link address, and I will add it here. So that's okay. This items here are okay. I will click OK, and we'll add one visual here, and adding that, let me make it video. Yeah, so adding that video as a value here. So now you can see the video is here, and you can play that one even on your Power BI report. So you can embed many videos here. You can add, you can even embed a song or music from different sources here. There are some tags, you can use that one. But to change those size of that one, you can change this one to, for example, 500 and 350, and now it will be bigger. So if you upload that on Power BI service, still the user can use that one. As long as your computer connected to internet, you can use that one. So they can play that one, they can go on forward and backward. So it's very useful. I use this scenario, this one in one of my projects, because I'm working in a construction company. The image of the web projects, or even some videos from the project, videos are very important. The managers, when they see those insights and things, you can add some box here. Okay, this is the report for yesterday. If you wanna see the video after yesterday, short highlighted video, you can press on this one. When you press that one and add this one as a bookmark to be appear when they click on that one, the report, that button, that video that will pop up, they can watch the video and then close it. And that's connected one folder on the SharePoints, and the project engineer will record this very small short video and place it there with the same name and same address. So this address is always same. So I don't need to open my report and update it every day. That will be updated automatically, because my report is connected to that source. So that was the last tag I wanted to show you today. If there is any question, I'm more than happy to hear that and try to answer that one. Otherwise, we can wrap this session. Hopefully, I could add some helpful information to you today. So any question?
Do you have any dashboard to show us something, the project you did?
Well, let me find. I can't show those reports from my company because of
Yeah,
NDA, you
yeah.
know that. So, but I had something before. If I can't find it in my let's see, is there anything here? This one, what is this demo? Nothing inside this demo. This demo, HTML for images, New Year. Um, I think
That's
this
okay.
one is it. So yeah, let me share my screen with you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is the Bitcoin price, and it's connected to It's not updated, but it's connected to Yahoo Finance. So you can change the date here and everything will change here. You can see the arrows, the highlighted things. And then even you can change the font color. You can change the font and you can change the size. Even if you change the now it's green because it's increased and that shows the percentage there. Those are bold. If you don't want to mark that, you can say no or yes to mark those values there. There was some other reports if I find. Yeah, this is totally with the HTML. In last year, everyone sent electrical gift card, Happy New Year cards. I send it with Power BI, share it as a public, and send the link to all my friends and colleagues. And whenever they open that one, they see this one, all with HTML. And this is with HTML. If you hover the mouse over this one, those will be start rotating like this one, this one, this one, or even if you hover the mouse on this one, that will show the Microsoft, which that link is broken now. You can see that one. You can select this one to show the Power Automate for all the icons. And yeah, if you want to see those information, all of them are in my website. So if you go to the articles and use, why I didn't add the HTML here. If I add HTML here, you can see there are some items here. For instance, here you can see the information for those icons, add some rotation to for them. You can add a Google font here in this one. Yeah, there are some blog posts on my website, and you can use those as a sample if you want to add some of those items and tags, HTML tags to your reports.
Yeah, that website, can you ping in the chat, please?
Yeah, let me add it. And I have a plan to share some other new blog posts there. So if you want to be informed when I share that one, just follow me on LinkedIn. Let me share my LinkedIn here. And I will post it there. There is one question in the chat box, actually. Thank you to all of those people, say useful. And then there is one way, could you show how did you connect it to Yahoo Finance? Uh, just follow me. I in the middle of writing a blog post for that one, so I will share that by end of the August. So there are some tweaks to connect that one automatically because of the clock and hours is in different format. I'm working on one scenario to make that totally like a live connection to the backend of the Yahoo Finance, but I will share that soon. I will share that soon. Okay, is there any other question? Nope. Okay, so we can wrap this session. Ahmad, if there is anything else, let me know. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and hopefully in the future we can have another session.
Thank you so much, Wade. I think we have one more question. Can we
Mhm.
apply font style to entire report?
Uh, Again, there are some tricky way to do that. I told you, you can download your file, save it as a zip, and there is one file inside that JSON file, which is the theme of your file, your report. If you check that on the website, there are many, not million, many web blog posts. They explain that how to use that, but I highly recommend to don't do that. Don't use that one because whenever you publish them on Power BI service, in some cases that will face issues because you change some attributes which are not processable by the engine of the Power BI service. But yes, you can do that. So there are some tricky ways there.
But Wade, if it's a standard font, let's say one of the standard fonts which Power BI supports out of the box, will that still cause an issue?
Um, To be honest, I haven't used that with that to tell you there is an issue or not issue, but I know there is a way to use that
Mm,
one
mm,
because for some Persian people, whenever we want to write that, we are writing from right to left, and we are using some fonts same as Arabic.
mm,
So I know some people using that method
mhm.
to add custom content, but I haven't used that, and I again highly recommend to don't do that because as
Right.
I'm just talking about the procedures and the standards, but you
Right.
can do that. You can test that.
All
You
right.
can test whatever you want. It's free.
Absolutely. I think the in the same point we have another question. Is there a way to set the report to RTL style from right to
RTL
left?
style.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that RTL style?
Like a right to left for Arabic
Oh
and
yeah. Uh yes, you can. Just open this text, this website in the chat, copy that and paste it before your text. That will be right to left. That's one unique code number, and that's a HTML code and CSS code. So if you open that website I send in the chat,
Mhm.
then use that one. I record the video, but it's in the Persian to, but you can watch it. Maybe there is something you can find it how to add a right to left for my Persian friends. But let me find it and share it in the chat. It's in the Persian, so if you don't know Persian language, you can't understand what I'm telling. But I telling them how to add that characters to make everything from right to left.
I think that will
So
be really useful because in the
yeah,
whole region over here.
yes. Let me this one. If you find that way good, but you find that way useful, and you wanna have one repo or video in English language, just add some comment under that video, and I will record that in English. That's easy.
Sure. Perfect. Thank you so much. Are
Mm.
there any other questions? Please feel free to add it on chat or unmute yourself.
Okay, seems there is no question.
Yeah.
You can follow you can find me on a LinkedIn, Twitter, or you can just send me an email if you have any question. I will do my best to answer that as soon as possible. Again, thank you and wish you all the best. Bye for now.
Okay. Thank you so much, Vahid. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
everyone, for your time. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you.